Hey guys, welcome back to NerdCrave. I've got something really exciting for you today. I'm going to introduce you to my dad. My dad's just come up for a visit with COVID and everything. It's been really hard to get together, so it's actually been several months since I've seen you.
It's been a long time. It's been far too long.
Yeah. We should have probably been wearing masks, but, I think we're pretty safe. We've been isolating for months, right? We don't really go anywhere, so you've been super supportive of me on this YouTube journey. You've watched a lot of my videos and commented and encouraged me. What do you think of this so far?
Well, I think it's an excellent opportunity for you to show your stuff. You have a lot of knowledge. You've spent a lot of years in, handling all these different formats and designs and what have you, and different media. I think it's great.
I mean, it's been a real learning experience coming this far. I mean, not to say that I'm anywhere specific now, but it's been a really interesting experience for me, just learning all this new stuff. Now, you were a part-time videographer back in the 90s and stuff like that. I really got most of my exposure to editing and camera work and things like that. As a kid, I used to be super excited about what you were doing and going around. Remember all the demolition derbies that we went to?
Oh yeah.
God, what was that one was it Minden, I think it was, where one of the cars jumped right over the logs and almost hit the tower that you were videoing from?
Oh right, yeah. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed doing those.
But as a kid, I was maybe 10 or 11 years old when you were into that, and we used to go around to dog shows. You would film dog shows, and we did demolition derbies. You had some kind of car track, car races and things like that, and we would film that stuff and then sell the, back then it was VHS tapes or whatever, to whoever wanted them, as a record of the derby or whatever. It wasn't exactly a huge business or anything, but we sure had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, that was a big thing. It was time together, and it was fun. It was really exciting.
Yeah, and I remember some of the technology back then. Remember those old Super VHS editing machines that you had, the flip down face with the shuttle controls and all that kind of stuff, all that analog technology. I've been looking for one of those VCRs for a long time. Just, they're so cool.
Yeah.
The stuff that you could do. I remember being 10 or 11 years old and playing with the buttons and putting, text, and you could actually, built into one of these VCRs, they had, editing functions where you could actually put, title screens up and type in words and put music, I guess you had some kind of a mixer or something as well, where you could put music tracks in and stuff, and it was pretty cool. That's actually what got me kind of into the idea of wanting to do this. I mean, of course, I have all this collection and all the games and all the VHS and the comics and all that kind of stuff that I'm super interested and passionate about, but I'm also interested in the videography aspect of it, and the lighting and the camera work, and just experimenting with the technology and microphones and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of get off on it. But what was kind of the reason why you got into that at the time? Was it the same kind of enthusiasm for the technology, or was it more from a filmmaking standpoint? What really got you into it back in the day?
I'd have to say it was the artistic end of it, just shooting stuff, unusual stuff that you feel people don't even notice.
Yeah.
So you're walking around with your camera all the time, and Sharon would say, here I am shooting bubbles on a beach, the water and the sand, and she's like, what are you shooting that? People don't understand. It's just, you just want to catch unique stuff.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to probably watch an old movie or something. We're going to have some barbecue, and then I'm thinking we may watch the original, uncut, pre-edited version of Star Wars, which I have on VHS. Haven't decided yet whether we're going to watch it here in the studio on the Sony Trinitron or whether we'll watch it in the other room on the flat screen yet. We'll decide that later. But before we sign off here, I have an announcement and something that's been kind of brewing with me for the last 3 or 4 videos. If you've kept up with the last 3 or 4 videos, you'll see that we did a topic about our retro games becoming pointless, which no, they're not becoming pointless, but the conversation there was that games, a lot of this stuff in the collection is becoming less important with things like emulation and digital downloads on newer consoles, and things like Netflix for movies. You don't need your DVD collection anymore for Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever the services are. Some of this stuff is becoming pointless from a practical standpoint. The next video I did was talking about how I actually traded in about 100 of my games and used the value from that to get a new Nintendo Switch, which was really cool for me. I was able to get the Animal Crossing Nintendo Switch Special Edition, which I'm a big fan of Animal Crossing, and most of the games that I get rid of were really not anything that I was going to play or miss, and indeed, I don't miss them, and as you can see, I still have all kinds of stuff. I got rid of a bunch of PS1 and PS2 games that I have other ways to play them, like digitally on my PS3 or whatever. So moving forward now, I've decided to create what I'm going to call the 90-day Backlog Challenge. And basically what that means is, for one, I spend $0. I am not going to buy a single game for 90 days. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. I've got some other projects that I want to do with my money, and I would really like to redirect that several $100s a month that I've been spending on retro games into some other projects. So I'm taking a 90-day break. I'm not going to buy any games. I'm not going game hunting, no game stores, no thrift stores, no pawn shops, no games, not even $2 games, nothing.
That's going to hurt.
That is going to be really tough for me to do. But the exciting part about that, the other couple of rules for the 90-day challenge is you don't buy any new games, but then you pick 12 games, because 90 days is basically 12 weeks plus 3 or 4 days. So I'm going to pick 12 games. I've actually already picked them, and I've put them in order of which games I'm going to play, and I've taken this really nifty Zelda calendar here, and you can see I've put icons here for each game that I'm going to play. So for the first week, starting today, or starting yesterday actually, I'm going to be playing Destroy All Humans, the remake on the Xbox One. So you can see here I printed these out, these little icons of the games that I'm going to play. This helps me get excited about the idea of playing these games and looking forward to these games that have been in my backlog that I've been really excited to play, but just haven't got around to. I keep getting distracted by the next new game and the next new experience. So over these 90 days, I am committing to give 1 week to each of these 12 games and to play each of these games for 30 minutes a day or more. Just 30 minutes. On top of, the other games that I'm playing, I have a couple of games on the go right now. Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town, which is something I play for 20 or so minutes at morning and night. And then I'm messing around with Atelier Ryza, which I got on sale last week during the Easter Switch sale. So I'll be messing around with both of those games here and there. But these games are going to get a minimum of 30 minutes per day, and I'm actually going to mark off each day on the calendar with a red star or a gold star if I achieve that 30 minutes or if I achieve more than that 30 minutes, and then I'm going to check in with you each week when I make whatever video I make and just give you an update as to what I think of these games, how much progress I made in them, and whether I intend to continue playing these games into the future. So, first week, Destroy All Humans. I'm going to get into Zelda Link's Awakening. In the second week, Crash Bandicoot 4 on my Xbox One in the third week. And then moving through May, I'm going to hit the Metal Slug Anthology on my Wii, DuckTales Remastered on the PS3, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which I bought brand new a year ago when it came out, and I was super excited for this game. I played it for like 45 minutes and then just moved on and never got around to it. So really looking forward to this. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight, the physical edition on the Nintendo Switch. I actually pre-ordered Hollow Knight when it came out before I even owned a Switch. It was like 6 months before I even got the Switch after I had Hollow Knight. And I was so excited to play it at the time, and I still haven't got around to playing it. Just crazy. Literally the first Switch game I ever bought, and I've never played it. And then Mario Odyssey, which I have played, a couple of hours of and really enjoyed what I did, just kind of got distracted by some kind of bigger, more impressive games and never went back to it. So the challenge will end in basically the end of June here with Alice Madness Returns on the Xbox 360, Catherine on the Xbox 360, Godzilla Unleashed on the Wii, and 3D Game Heroes on the PS3. So stay tuned. Comment down below what you think of some of these games and what I'm going to be getting into. What do you think of the idea of really forcing myself to consume some of the stuff that I've been collecting over the years?
It's just going to increase your knowledge of each of the games and get you that much more into it.
Well, I think, the problem with most collectors, whether you're collecting anything, is that you tend to buy more than you can consume. And then you get to a place where you have hundreds or thousands of something. Like I have 2,500 comic books, and I don't think I've read more than a couple hundred of them. You get overwhelmed, and you get to the point where, like with comic books, for example, I'm collecting Star Trek comic books, and you get this thought in your head, well, I can't really read them yet because the collection's not complete, and I want to read them all in order. So, until you just keep buying and buying and buying and filling shelves with this stuff, and you never get around to reading it. It's the same with video games. You take a series like Final Fantasy, which has 50 games or something, but there's 15 or so in the main series, plus a couple of sequels and things, maybe 20 games, and you want to play them in order. So I've got the first 2 games on the PSP, and then I've got the next 2 games on the Nintendo DS, and then I've got a couple of games in between, like Final Fantasy 7 and 8, which I've purchased on the Switch, but I'm missing a couple here and there, and it's like, I don't really want to dive into that until I've got the complete set, but it's kind of silly because I do have the first couple of games that I could get started on while I'm waiting. But, that's what ends up happening with these big collections. So this challenge, 90 days, no new games come into the collection to distract me, except for a couple games which I have already pre-ordered. That's Pokemon Snap and R-Type Final 2, which I will be just leaving sealed until the end of this 90 days. I will buy them because I committed to buy them. I pre-ordered them. But they will not be touched until the end of this 90-day challenge. So, 12 games, 30 minutes per game, 90 days. Let's see how that works out. Sound off in the comments below. Say hi to my dad if you would. Give him a wave in the comments. And,
hey!
We'll see you in the next video. Stay classy.